Welcome to the XSF podcast, hosted by Devante and Louis Bombadiri. Everyone is capable of being extreme. Tune in Fridays to discover how you are too. Welcome, everybody, to episode 25 of the XSF podcast. We are so excited to be here with you all today because today we got down and dirty with self-control. Really talking about how we can utilize that a little bit more in our lives and really in regards to our training. Me and Lou drop our two top tips for you guys today on how we all can get better at self-control. And do not get us wrong, we are two humans who are still dealing with this ourselves, and we do know this is all a team effort. So hey, if you guys want to be an extreme human, make sure you're open to just learning from other people and just really getting experience from life. All right, everybody.
Enjoy.
Hope you enjoy. So you said you were jumping out of a plane yesterday,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. When
How was that?
skydiving, it was to me, it was amazing, amazing, like th- amazing. You're
Did
free falling out of a plane. Like, yeah,
Who'd you go with?
see this. What?
Who'd you
Who I
go
go
with?
with? Oh, a friend of mine. I see. I'm in North Carolina right now visiting a friend, and I was like, bro, we're
Okay.
jumping out of planes, and he was like, cool. So we went Piedmont skydiving. Piedmont skydiving in North Carolina. I think Salisbury, North Carolina. Amazing.
There you go.
I met people, the
Check it out if you're out
instructors.
there.
Yeah, the instructors are so dope. It's a seamless operation. They go over everything with you. It's amazing, It's just accepting the
Well,
fact that you're jumping out of a plane.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, what is it like when you go to jump like that? Because I know me, like I was getting ready to do rappelling out of helicopters. It's a lot different.
Mm.
How was it like stepping to that edge? Did you have to have somebody with you, or did you
Of
like go
course,
by
yeah, yeah,
yourself?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You were.
Oh,
I
you had
did
to have somebody
nothing
with you.
besides just free fall and have a camera in my hand.
Because you have to
You
go a
know?
couple times. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
in order to have that,
Tandem.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, tandem jumping.
Okay. Okay.
It,
Okay.
it's the one of the coolest parts for me is going over the edge because you're like, I'm jumping out of a plane. Like that's a, like you're like primitive party. It was like, what are we doing, bro? We're jumping out of a plane, and you're like, since
Why
you're
are we?
consciously aware of what's going on, you're like, yeah, we're fine. We got a parachute. We're cool, But like,
Deep
it
down,
was
your
just
body's like, we were not made to do this.
yeah, yeah,
Why? Why are
exactly.
Why are
No,
we doing this?
but it's exactly like go like you have like those nerves feeling, but you're like I was fine. Some people on the plane
Right.
are like bugged out, and
Well,
also
that's
like
like something we talk about.
the
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
instructors are
something we
like
talk about
messing with
too. Like,
people too.
I would definitely do
Dude, it
that.
was great. Like the
That was like that in
instructors
the
would be
army
like,
too, though.
yeah, the instructors would be like just saying the most wild stuff, and like my guy was like, I was just so calm and ready because I was so amped. I was gonna jump out of a plane, and like at one point the dude was just like, "You ever feel like you're forgetting something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I have that feeling right now." I'm like, "Well, we'll find out, bro. Like, if you forgot something, we're gonna die. So I hope you didn't, but we'll find out.
We'll figure it out at that
Like
point, I guess.
it was just dope, though. You free fall for like 45 seconds, just full blown, and then he hits the thing, and you're like,
Just
and
your
it's like
your
peak.
face is probably just like, brrr, just like
It's dope.
getting
I
blown
just
away.
got the media for the video. I'm gonna put it all together and put it on Instagram. It's dope. It's dope. Yeah,
Dope.
because I got the
Did
camera
you?
special, so you have the whole flight going up, like when you jump, when you're jumping,
Oh,
when you're coming
that's
down.
so
It's amazing,
sick.
bro. And when you hit the
That's
parachute and
amazing.
when you hit the parachute, you just like you like drop because when you're going down, you're like this, and when you hit the parachute, your legs just like drop, and now you're just like it's like just and it's
I was gonna
chilling. Like
say, like,
it's amazing.
yeah, when
You
it, like
have
that
this such
force
a
catches you, it's probably just like,
oh my god, and you're just like and you're just floating in
that's
air,
the
like
thing though,
looking at
is
everything.
like I'm definitely down for that type of stuff. Like that feeling, like I think that's why I skateboard too. Like you get
Yeah,
that feeling every
yeah.
time you go for a gnarly ass trick, like that feeling in your
It's
gut. But like that's
yeah.
the difference though, is like I feel like some people like you tend to run away from it. Like even getting in front of like a crowd of people, like talking, right? Like I get butterflies doing that, but I don't look at it as being nervous. I look at it as the same way I would skateboarding. Like I'm excited as shit to do this. Like yes, it's something
Mm.
I'm have not done and have not ventured into yet, but maybe I have, and I'm still just like, damn, this could be risky. But hey, use it as a form of
That,
you know being motivated and just be like, hey, cool, like this is a good feeling. Use it as that, not be so
dude,
nervous about things. That's
I
at least
thought
like
about
me. I
that.
know.
I thought about that with skating. Is that's how it felt like when I'm like the way I skate. If I'm going down a really steep hill, the nerves that you
Yeah.
have when you're like, yo, I can fall, whatever it is, and you just,
Bro, when you're bombing a hill,
and then you hit
yes.
that flat ground, and you're cruising. That's how it felt
Mm-hmm.
when you're free falling, and then all of a sudden you hit the parachute and you're cruising
Was
down.
it? So it
It's
was
dope.
just like that though.
Just like that's how I could like. I didn't honestly put that together till you just talked about skating. I was like, yo, that's exactly how it feels. Like that nerve of like,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you hit the flat land, you just chilling.
coasting. Such a
Bro,
good
it's
feeling.
so dope. It was
Oh
so dope.
man, that's so sick. That is so sick.
So, and I'm
Talk
so
about
and the
flying, bro.
experience.
Yeah,
What's
I
up?
was gonna. Yeah, okay. That's no. You so experience right there, real quick. Like
Yeah,
that's just something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like I've been thinking about my
experiencing
life
life.
and like how many different jobs I've had and how many different things I've had. And, like looking, I used to beat myself up about things like that. Like, oh, you're such a quitter, blah blah blah. And it's like, nah, dude. Look at it as like you wanted to just experience new things. Like got you got out of what you got out of it, and you were like, hey, let's move on to the next. And being able to push yourself past those things. 'Cause there's so many jobs like I wouldn't have taken, and if I couldn't get rid of that feeling in my gut, like, hey, this isn't something to be like necessarily nervous about. Just get excited about it and just see what happens. Let it go. Let life take you. Same thing about jumping out the plane. I mean, you have
Dude,
no control. That's just like letting. That's just a form of just letting life take its course. Like, hey, I'm gonna do this. I want to do this. Like, whatever happens, happens. And I think that's just
yeah.
like a beautiful thing to be able to get a hold of.
If you're one of those people that always have to be in control, then skydiving's not for you because you're not in control. Like, well, at least the first couple of times, you have to go with someone. So it's like you, like the guy that's on your back. It's all up to them. If they mess up,
Yeah,
you're
because they
done. See you
jump
later.
too,
Because I'm
right?
not a
Like pretty
skydiver.
much.
What?
They're the one who
What is
like
that?
pretty much like makes you jump, right? Like
Well,
because
that's
they're
the thing. Like
behind
if
you.
you if
So
you're about to go up to the edge and you start freaking out, legally they can't jump. They have to stop.
okay,
But
that's
they're
what I
in
was gonna
control of
say.
everything where they pull the parachute, they guide you down. They're navigating the winds. They're doing everything. You're just chilling if you're or freaking out, whichever one you want to do. You know, being in the present moment or
Yeah.
thinking about death, 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 death. I could die. Like, yeah, okay. After you get past
Hmm.
that, like, yo, worst case scenario right here, we die.
We
Next,
die.
and then you just enjoy it. Like, you know what I'm
It's like
saying? And
okay,
it's
like
experiencing the experience. Like I can now say I know what it's like to go to the edge of one of those single propeller planes and jump out of it. Like to me, that is so
yep.
dope. I
That's what
tell
I
you
was
what,
just
I
gonna
still can't
say.
hear out of my right ear because I'm nuts. And apparently, when I was coming down, I was screaming my head off and singing "Free Falling" by Tom Petty. And apparently, you're not supposed to do that because you're closing your air pressure. So for like when I first came down,
Oh,
bro, I could not hear. I'm screaming at everyone. Then my left ear is fine. My right one's still like a little shot. Like I have that echo, like after
yeah.
like get water in it. You know? Am I
Oh,
am
yeah.
I
Like
am I
that. Like
regretting of what I did? No. I would do it all
nah,
again the same
dude.
way. I don't need this. Yeah, I got two of them.
Yeah, dude, you're good. My hearing's been messed up. JoJo always
You
tells me
know?
you're deaf. It's like I had to get ear surgery twice now since I've been out the army. So trust me, I get you, bro.
Damn,
Like
bro.
got these big old headphones on. Um, talking about flying though, there's this thing I want to talk about with birds, bro. I'm gonna bring it up on screen if it'll even like show. I'll put a pop up on there, but it's super funny. We were trying to figure out the other day, like, cause like some birds mate for life, right? I was
Mate
trying
for
to
life?
figure that out. Yeah, dude. So I was
What do you
like,
mean?
because JoJo was telling me, yeah. So like, there's some okay, so like penguins, right? Like, I know
Uh-huh.
this is a little bit off topic, but like
No.
no, not really, but they mate for life. Like, so a lot of like the ones in, I believe it's Antarctica. I can't remember the name of them exactly, but the big tall ones, like the 3 foot tall ones,
Mm.
they mate for life. And so we looked it up. I was like, what else mates for life? And actually, a lot of birds mate for life, bro. Geese, swans, cranes, eagles. And even there's a lot of like monogamous bird species that cheat, bro. They cheat. There's cheating ass birds, and some of them get divorced, dog. Tell me that ain't some shit, dude.
They got divorce lawyers
This
and
is
shit.
from birdswatcherdigest.com, everybody. I'll put it up on screen and there'll be a link in the bio. But yes, dude, they a lot of those birds mate for life. Some of them cheat and some of them get divorced, dog. They must be going through some custody battles. You know how many kids those
Could you
birds be having
imagine
and stuff,
that?
dog?
Oh my gosh.
Oh
That's got
my
to be worse
gosh, dude.
than like our I don't know, man.
It has to be,
That's
bro.
wild.
There's no like, you see, like, oh, dude, it makes sense. You see like birds out there, like
Yeah.
going at it and stuff, bro. They're probably
Yeah.
just
Dude,
dealing
the
with
other
their
day
divorce situation, dog.
I was walking home from the gym in Manhattan. I saw a pigeon hop on another pigeon's back. I'm like, they're about to get down. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, like three pigeons came and just
Yeah,
cock blocked them full up. And I was like, That's
Yo,
messed
which
up. But
one?
now that could have been he could have been cheating. You know what I mean? And that was like the dude and
Yeah,
his two brothers. Like, yo, you know, that's my
yeah,
girl. You know, or my pigeon.
yeah.
You know?
Or the home or the some homegirls or something pulled up like, hey,
Yeah,
like of
something
the
like
other
don't
dude's
don't
girl.
you ain't
Something
cheating
so
on
you
you ain't
know,
cheating and shit. You
hey,
know what
what
I
you
mean?
doing?
Like they came with a crew. You know,
Yeah,
that
bro,
could have
pull
been
up,
it. That could
bro.
have been the dude and his girl and his side piece, and
Yeah,
the three people were you know his real girl and her two friends, and they ran up on her because pigeons are crazy too. They don't give
yeah,
a shit. Like taxi comes, they're
dude,
like, yeah,
they
you better
don't.
move for me, bro. New York City pigeon, I don't care. You want to know a quick history about New York City pigeons? Do you know why there's so many pigeons in New York City? Because back in with
I
the
do not know.
influx of immigrants, back in the influx of
Yeah.
immigrants, they took pigeons from Europe and brought them to New York City just to have food. That it was like that's how bad times were. It's like, yo, you want to eat? Shoot a pigeon out the sky and cook it. That's why there's so many pigeons in New York City. It was
Really?
originally for food. Yeah, it was originally to feed all the immigrants that came over.
Wow.
The
I
yeah,
feel like that's just
true
a
story.
way to get sick. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so
maybe now, like if you were to go eat pigeons, but back
yeah,
then, I feel like
it
you're just gonna
worked
get
though.
everyone
I
sick.
mean, that's no. I mean, they had to improvise. Like you had to make it work.
Yeah,
I feel it.
you had like you know
No, it's just
tons of people coming in. They didn't have like mass production of food, so you know
no.
pigeons.
You had to make it work. They're there.
I can
Like
just see you being at the
screw it.
round
It's better
table,
than
like everyone's
us. It's
talking about
better than eating each
how do
other.
we feed all these immigrants? Devante's just like I feel like you can get everyone sick.
Yeah, bro. I don't know, dude. Hey guys, screw it.
I don't know
Let's
about
send it.
pigeons, bro. You know, you could give them something
Figure
else.
something else out.
Yeah, man. A
No,
little
that's
history
just
real
funny
quick
because
on
I just like
pigeons for you.
yeah, a little bit of bird knowledge for you too. I don't know. I just thought it was funny, dude. I was just like, dang, that's so
Dude,
interesting
that's
because
wild.
like
Because you could think about like
most of us humans can't even mate for life, bro. Most of us humans cannot find one person and mate for life, bro. Like the fact, like I don't know, it's just funny that birds can do that. Like, I would get their, I mean, their lifespan is like compared to ours. Like at least a lot. Like well, eagles live for a long time.
yeah, I was gonna say
Swans
like
live for quite a while.
with us too though. Humans have a lot of the other things that go on in our heads and keep us.
I was just gonna
You know,
say
you
that
watch some.
too.
But I watched this one documentary. It was like the family next door. Talk about self
Hmm.
control. Homeboy
Self
was
control,
apparently
dude.
best, the best husband in the world. He came into this woman's life. The whole family loved him. They had two
Yeah,
kids. Long story short, he finds some other chick he falls in love with. So his way of getting out of it, kills the kids and the wife, gets rid of their body and acts like nothing happened. Obviously, he got caught, but like, like that's the human mind. That everyone thought this guy was amazing. Oh my God, Scott was the best thing that ever happened in my life. And he finds someone else he goes falls in love with, and instead of self control and having to be a man, listen, this is life. Like, honey,
hmm
sweet kids, you got to get divorced. You have to deal with it that way. No, this guy kills
yeah,
everybody
just
and
something.
hides their
Yeah,
bodies, and then tries to lie about it. Like, I mean, literally tries to get away with it, like full blown, the
and
way he's
that's
acting and
yeah.
everything, and like that's you want to talk about self control, and then the human mind. It's oh, you
Hmm.
got to face these like
Yeah,
that.
that
You
goes
know, that's why
right,
I'm so
literally
adamant
right
about
into
facing yourself. You know, that's why I'm
like
so
actually
adamant
sitting
about
with
facing yourself
yourself
because
and
the more we distract and we go through life, you know, from high school, you're the man in high school, whatever. You're really smart in high school, whatever your thing is in high school. Then you get from that, and now you're in college. It's always progressing forward. It seems like everything's good on the surface, but when everything has to settle down, for instance, COVID, for example, when COVID made everyone settle down, a lot of kids lost their minds because in a superficial world, they were doing so great. You know, everything was, oh, he's going to college. Oh, Timmy's saving some scratch on the side. You know, he's got a girlfriend. Oh, he never gets in trouble. Never been arrested. All this good stuff. And then everyone has to stop, look at themselves, and all those
mhm,
distractions, the job, the school, everything slowed down, and they go and lose
give
their
me a second.
stuff because they have no actual,
Yeah,
they forget self control. They don't have any identification of who self is. They think they're all these
yeah.
degrees and these studies and all these things. And then when those stop, who are you? Who am I now?
Where do
Am I
they
the
go?
CEO? If I lost my
Yep.
job, am I still the CEO? Oh no. You know? And then if you
What
don't
do I
even
do
know the
now?
self, you can't even have self control. How can you control yourself if you don't even know yourself?
And that's
You
just
know what
like
I'm saying?
something to really talk about, especially with like training too. Like that's something that I would like to talk about pretty heavy for today's episode, just because it's pretty at home with me, and I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people too. Like speaking of being at home, like I know a lot of people still can't go to some gyms, or some people just still don't want to. And
Our
this plays
Canadian
into
friends
self
can't do anything.
can't do anything.
Up
Yeah, that's what I
north in
was gonna
Canada,
say.
they
Like
still
think
can't. They
about
still can't even go to gyms.
they
And the
still,
reason their
yeah,
government's giving them is like Ugats. Come on.
Yeah, like oh, but it's just like for me, that plays a heavy role into self control and being able to tell yourself like, hey, although I'm at home, like I'm gonna get my training in, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm not saying it's gonna be anything like if you could go to your regular training spot, no, but that also plays into the fact of like, hey, you still can do what you need to accomplish your goals, right? Or at least stay in line with them. So when you can go back to the gym or you can start doing whatever you want, like in my case, I can't skateboard right now. I
Mm.
twisted my ankle. So if you don't know, I had surgery on my ankle, reconstructive surgery. It was going all good. 2 months into it, went to Chicago, rolled it again. And I was on like an up and up for a while. Like I was getting back to loading with body weight and then got hurt. And then I was like, okay, so I went back to the doctor, found out that I didn't tear anything off, whatever, right? So then me hearing like, hey, you're good, just take a break from PT for 2 weeks. I threw self-control a little bit out the window. And I mean, I didn't go crazy. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't out here trying to do squats and stuff, but I wasn't being as mindful because it felt good until it didn't feel good. Because it was like, oh, my kid's on the ground. Like I would just squat down, like ass to grass squat, total knee flexion, everything. And it felt good to do so until all of a sudden, like the night came around. I was like, okay, I'm hurting a little bit. Or I'd go on like longer bike rides. So I have a client who's downtown and I live about 15 minutes from downtown St. Paul, so I bike down there, right? And I'd bike down there. It's all downhill, but then coming back up, if you know, in Minnesota, in St. Paul, we have to go up over the Mississippi River, and it's just big bridges. Either way you go, it's just uphill from there. And that just tore my ankle up more than I knew because it was just like a progressive thing that happened, right? And if I would have been able to been like, hey, like have a little bit more here because it was just I let it off the reins a little bit because it's not like I also went balls off the walls and tried to skate and do all this other stuff and blah blah blah. Like I got the clearing to even like cruise on my skateboard, but myself felt like I wasn't quite ready. I did it like once or twice and I was like, I'm not gonna push that. So that was me being self-control. But on the other end, I could have dialed it back a little bit more and been like, hey man, like today I could be getting back to doing some front foot elevated split squats, but now I can't, and I have to completely dial it back to out of the boot, no load type stuff stretching right now until I come back from my trip to Missouri this week and then go back to PT next week. So it's just one of those things that can really bunk you down. It starts to play with your head, especially when you are like somebody who's goal driven with your training. And if you're training for sport, or you skateboard, or you're just training for a specific goal, like you want to lose weight by a specific time or whatever the case may be, having that self-control, like that's going to be your saving grace, especially on the mental side of things, because once you start letting that slip a little bit, it just feels like you lose control. It's everything's just like, oh cool, like now I'm not doing what I wanted to do, I'm not accomplishing my goals, blah 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 blah, all this stuff starts to fall apart. And I don't know how you feel about that, Lou, but that's just like how I've kind of seen it for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to self control and training, you have to again when I said earlier about understanding yourself, right? Because you can't have control of yourself if you don't know yourself. So if you're, for instance, I think of clients that are like, all right, I'm so motivated on Monday, I want to get in the gym 5 days this week, all this stuff they're telling me, and it's like, listen, Mo, I've been training with you for 6 months now. Just to get you in the gym 2 days a week is a challenge. I get it. You're motivated on Monday. Let's understand ourselves a little more. If it's such a challenge to get you in the gym for 2 days, why all of a sudden I'm going to go to five? Let's say two this week. And if I'll give you the workouts that if you get to two, we got three more to go, you know? So controlling yourself
Mm-hmm.
too is even when you're about to get into a goal. Understand the self-control you have to not all of a sudden, like how are you going to go from a couch surfer to 5 days a week in the gym? You know what I mean? Have
Mm-hmm.
self-control when you're even setting limits on goals. You know, no one's out here pushing ourselves except ourselves. So when you make an agreement with yourself to be like, yo, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 days a week and you only made it two, yourself starts saying, yo, you're a liar. I can't trust you. Now you
You
really don't
can't
know
do it,
yourself.
or
Now you really don't have self-control.
exactly.
You know, and you have
Mm-hmm.
all these things happen. Why can't I get to the gym? Why can't I get to the gym? Excuses, excuses, excuses. When if you just started on self-control from the jump with the goal and said, listen, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to go about it. I'm going to go 2 days this week. Hey, if day three comes around this week, bet. And if it doesn't, hey, you still got your
Cool.
goal of two. You know, you didn't say five
Mm-hmm.
and made two, and now you feel like poop about it. You know what I mean? I can't believe you said poop because I didn't want to curse. It's the first time I did it in my life. That's amazing. That's some
Hey, we've been doing
self-control.
good though. I think
But
I just realized we've been
yeah,
doing pretty
dude,
good
we
with
are. I
it,
just
yo.
said poop.
Yeah,
I
good
just
job.
said poop. I don't have
Yeah,
kids. You know what I
good
mean? What's
stuff.
going on
Good stuff. I almost
here?
said the
That's
other
self
one, but good
control,
stuff.
bro.
Yeah,
That's self
dude.
control, dude.
Applying what we're
But
talking about. Let's
yes,
go.
yeah. So like even with self control now, when it pertains to anything. Like I said, anything. When self-control first, you need to understand yourself to have control of the self, right?
So
And then
number one,
self-control
so
too
number
of
one tip would
like,
be know yourself.
yeah, know
Which, if you
yourself to
don't
have
know,
control of
if you
yourself.
don't really know how to do that too well, or you need assistance, we do have an episode. The last episode, episode 24, is all about that. So if you want to go back and listen,
Yeah,
go
and
ahead.
real quick to touch on it,
Um,
it's literally just have a self-reflection every single day. You don't have to sit in meditation, journal. Even if you sit down and stare at the wall or outside and look at a view, but just don't stare at your phone, don't stare at books, don't get distracted, sit with yourself, look in the mirror or something, because that's how you're going to understand the things that go through your mind that make you go, that make you don't go, that prevent you from getting
mhm.
these goals, that do anything of it. Because we all are ignorant to think I'm born into this body, I know it. Just like you going to the gym, right? Like
Yes.
imagine you're 16 years old and you have your family's wealthy like that, and they turn around and go, "Honey, I'm gonna give you a car for your 16th birthday," and you just hopped in it, and you think you got it going on. Boom, 5 feet later, you hit a parked car. That's what we do when we go in the gym, you know,
Yep.
because we don't have the self control to sit back and be like, "Wait a second, I actually don't know anything about the human body. Let me now go
Yep.
check this out." Which also
Yeah.
takes the ego hit. You know, that's where self control and the
It's
ego now come into play, because you have to have that self
well, that's
control to talk to the ego to say, "Yo, Mo, I don't know this yet. Let me figure this out." That's also self control, because our ego will tell us
mhm.
like I'm catching that stuff. And I was in the airport the other day, and I was ear hustling a little bit. I was doing some ear hustling. I heard a little conversation, and these two people were talking about like why something happens at an airport. And instead of actually looking it up and figuring it out, they made two assumptions, and that's what it has to be. Now these two people go tell two other people that, and it's all nonsense. Instead of having the self control to put the ego to the side and be, hey, let me actually learn this. I don't know. Instead of
Just
assuming we know and
squash
just
it.
letting it go,
Yep.
you know?
And that's like the thing too, is like just being able to look at it like that, I think is amazing. And I love that you brought it up that way, because like I think what we should do is hit it with our big top two tips on how you can get better at self control. Because I love
Mm,
that one as number one would just be know yourself,
know
and
yourself.
just
Mm.
going deeper into exactly what you're just saying. And also, before we hop into this, I think what should be the second one, I do want to bring up that we have some coaching slots available, because we're talking about self control and we're talking about people getting back to training. And if you're having trouble, getting into it, it really, even just let's say you know what you want to do, but you're just having trouble getting to the gym. Having that coach by your side can really, really help, and I've seen it excel so many clients. So if you
I
guys
have a coach.
are interested, yeah,
You know
that's
what
what I
I
was gonna
mean?
say.
Coaches have
All
coaches. I
us
have a
coaches
coach.
have coaches. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
straight
shoot,
up.
like
I
it's
pay
just what
someone
like
to write my
it's.
stuff up. I have a
I don't.
coach, and I could write it myself, but self control now takes me out of
Boom.
the play because I'll sit there for 3 hours trying to write something up when I can give it to some other really good genius brain. Not saying I'm a genius, but someone who really knows their stuff and just hand
I
it to
think
me.
so
Now
because Lou
my
does
self
my
control
programming.
just
So
execute. Yeah, he said, "I do your program." So it's like,
yeah,
that's
I
the
don't want
way
to
it
do it.
works. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the way it
I
works.
got
You know
other
what I
people's
mean? We
stuff to do,
all,
and I just
yeah. Michael Jordan had a
yeah.
trainer. Like, we go in the gym thinking.
Yeah,
You know,
everybody, dude.
self
Like,
control.
and that's the thing is, if you guys want to, even just sit down and have an online consultation, you guys can head over. I'll put a pop up on screen. I know it's washed out. I'll figure that out on TV. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're just listening on Spotify, you can watch this stuff on YouTube. Link will be down in the show notes for you guys all to tune in with us here at the XSF podcast. And
So
once you head there, you'll be able to click that online consultation. I'll go back actually. You can click the book now. It will take you right to the booking options. It'll pop up with a calendar. You can choose either me or Lou, and then you can go right also to learn more. If you just want to learn more about what the consultation entails, I'll let you know now. We're just going to really dial down on what your goals are and what we think, not even what we can do necessarily get you there, but what we see, what will get you there. And then it's your choice if
exactly.
you want to work with us from there on out, right?
Yeah.
Now, another thing I want to bring up really quick is we have an email list, and if you guys want to get signed up, we have a sign up form now on the website. Now, the website is going to be getting an overhaul, and this will be actually happening after this episode comes out. So everything will be in set right now. There's a little thing here, and I'll make sure it's zoomed in on the screen. But for those who aren't watching, down in the description, I'll have a link just directly to the page that'll take you right to the Be Extreme newsletter, right? So if you want to be part of the Be Extreme newsletter, that's where we're going to be dropping emails every single month on deals, all the podcast episodes, some great things from podcasts, maybe some special videos that are coming out, maybe some
I'll
special
be
guests on the
dropping I'll
podcast.
be dropping
Who knows?
some Lou wisdom on you. You know what I mean? Some things I pick
Yeah,
up from the people
yes.
I follow. Just some
A lot of good stuff,
yeah, because there's a
and
lot of
also
those.
some skate clips too. I got some stuff
Oh,
in the
for
works
sure.
to get some skate clips going each month from some homies around here. So yeah, if you guys want to be a part of
Yeah,
that,
because
head to the website. I'll
and
have all the links and stuff.
yeah, and
Go ahead.
another thing with our newsletter too is like there's a lot of newsletters out there that'll state some things, right? To me, I like some, I have some, I follow some. We're
Hmm.
going to do our absolute best to never give you some type of biased opinion into society right now and just give you some ways to
Yes.
help yourself because that's something I can't stand these
Yeah,
people
that's
try
all
to
it's
do
about.
is like the
Yeah.
Daily Stoic real quick, okay? Because I just got to
Hmm.
do this. The Daily Stoic. I love it. I get emails from them, good. But then when you throw in your opinion too much, you're not too
Did you see that
stoic on
too?
it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
That.
cut it out.
Yeah.
Cut it out. You don't got
Yep.
to tell me about vaccinations. You're not a doctor. All of a sudden now, like everyone wants
Mm,
to talk about, you know what I mean? I gotta save this for
dude.
Louis Trust because now I'm about to go off the hinges. Okay, so
Yeah.
when it
Yeah.
comes to self control, when it
Let's
comes to
just get on.
self control,
Let's.
this is me
Yeah. Yeah.
understanding myself and where I can go with this. So I put this on the In Louis Trust podcast. That's where we go nuts. This is where we have self control. Okay, so I'm controlling
This is where we bring
myself
it back
to go
in.
nuts on the other podcast where I go nuts. There's no self control over there, and over here we have
Yeah.
self control because I know myself.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. And
Now,
it's
as we
just.
speak this too, though, as we speak this too, because I like to always be truthful when it comes to self control. I didn't have the most self control, for instance, Friday night because I was supposed to be up early Saturday for a podcast. Didn't make it. Okay. So we're not all
It's now
perfect. You know what I'm
Monday.
saying?
We're here.
We're not, yeah, it's now Monday. Okay. But we're doing it. The point is,
We're
though,
here.
I don't ever like to think people like I sit here on some pedestal. Yeah, I happen to be sitting on a bench right now because I'm not in my usual place, but
Like literally.
we're all always working together, always trying to get
Yep.
better. So self control is not something you just obtain and all of a sudden sit there and go, I have self
No.
control. It's something you always every day got to work at better, get at work getting better at. I think I said that right.
And
So
it's
that's another
also
thing
like
because because people get down on themselves a lot too when they don't do like I could have sat there and like I'm a loser, I'm miserable, but you're also great with that because you don't ever make me feel like that. You know what I mean? Like because I do sit there, I'm like, bro, you're 31 years old, you can't make it to the podcast. Kid's 23 with friggin' 3 kids, he's there. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? But but listen, like we're all getting better at what we do, and now we're here doing it. Like that's just something I have to say because I there's something within my head that always goes it's like a regular, like a governor I have that when I
Hmm.
starting to feel all this, it's all of a sudden smacks me and goes, yo, you're just a human. Chill out.
Boom.
Chill out.
Yep.
We can
Yep.
you can mess up tomorrow, you can mess this all up, Lou. You've done it before. I have that part of me that's always just waiting. Not sitting there saying like, oh, like
It's
this negative thing's gonna happen in my life, but just like, yo, Lou, remember,
like, hey, man.
there's still
Yep.
parts here that can make you go crazy. So it's like we're always trying
And
to get
that's
better to help each other. We're all walking each other home. Okay? Love everyone.
boom. Boom. It's not. That's the thing too. I love that you. I mean, uh, I just love that you brought that up. It's the fact that it's learned. I think that's the big number two thing is like, hey, it's know yourself and give yourself the time to learn, right? And it's
Yeah.
like not only learn yourself, but learn truly like what you want and learn from others. Like be open
'Cause-
to things and be open to different situations. Like I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the experiences I had, like we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, right? And it's like I was able to experience things and be open. Like when I was younger, I was so closed off, dude, so closed off to hearing what anybody had to say because I was just this kid without a dad, and I was just angry all the time. Like, well, I just didn't know what I wanted with life, right? I didn't know who I was, all this stuff, and then went away to the army and started figuring myself out. And I was like, okay, like, all right, now I start to see some things, and I was open to the people around me who were really trying to just not even necessarily trying to teach me things, but just like letting myself see, like, okay, this person's able to do this. How is that so? And then just being like, okay, and deducing that for myself and just being open to those
Well, but
things, I think
but
is
check
huge.
this out. See, that's what something I admire about you is at your tender age, you literally understand that. Like people, I think have to understand more
Reincarnation, dog, I'm
that
telling you.
that
I don't know.
yeah, that's why I believe that. But every single person, every second of your life can be a learning lesson if you're looking for it. Literally, if you're looking for it,
Hmm.
if you look at life that way, if things happen for you, not to you. Otherwise, you're gonna be, I can't believe this person's acting this way, and they're making me mad. They're making you mad, so your control is with them. Other people could, and when you bring, no, that's not what I'm saying. It's actually what you're saying, though. I'm just
Hmm.
breaking it down into a term in which you're not
That's like,
thinking about. So once I put it into your consciousness like that, all of a sudden you freak out. So the fact that like that's what it is though. Like understanding there's somewhere to learn it of everyone. Like I can learn from you every single day to have that ideology of, oh, you're young, why should you know things? Like no, it's like I admire it because what I was doing at your age insane compared to what you do. You know what I mean? That's why I'd sit here in mine, not sitting like, oh, you shouldn't be that way. I talked to an 18-year-old who I have 3 hour long in-depth conversations about God and existentialism with. He's 18. Like at
Mm-hmm.
18, I was talking about selling drugs. Like that's what I was doing. Like, so for me, it's
Mm-hmm.
fascinating, but we can all learn from each other. And again, that takes self-control because a big part of self-control too, like I said earlier, is about the ego to control the, not just control, but understand it, see it, and be like, all right, dude, I don't know everything. We all go through life thinking you know everything. Oh, I'm born in American, so I know about American history. I'm a patriot. What makes you a patriot? You pay taxes? You have to pay taxes. Have a little self-control and figure things out.
Yeah.
Learn things. You know, that's
Mm-hmm.
you gotta understand. Put that ego aside for a second. Have some self-control with that. I'm like, all right, let's learn now. Now I can learn. You know, it's crucial.
I
That's
think that's a
crucial because when
perfect
the
way
ego
to.
runs everything, yeah,
It's just
you
it's
know,
hard to see anything else, and we're not saying like, and I don't. And this is something that me and Lou still, like we just said, deal with to this day. Like him, like having the whole Friday thing. Me myself, with my sweets and my training. You know, it's the same thing. Like we all have it. We are all learning from each other, and I love that you brought that up because you know we're all about humans helping humans, and we love to just kind of round every episode off with that, and you know to just give you guys a little rundown of everything, our top two things about how you can get better at self control, especially when it comes to training in your life in general, would be to one, you got to know yourself. You just have to know yourself, know what you want, and that just goes deeper into that. And then second would be you got to give yourself time to learn from yourself and learn from others.
yeah,
That's just a big thing.
yes.
Be open to the knowledge around you. There's a lot out there, and you just have to be willing to see it. But you got anything else for him today, Lou?
No, like I said, like know yourself, and again, it takes a while. We go through life thinking we know it already, but you don't. So understand, like, all right, it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna go learn myself and know myself truly, not my first name or my parents' name or I'm an American. Any of these things that they just put on you externally. Find out what's internal, and then find out what you want. Because like my man over here, Devante was saying, if you don't know what you want, how you know where you're gonna go? You know, you hop in a if you get in a a little what are those things called? I'm gonna say a schooner, but a sailboat. If you get a sailboat and you just don't know where you're going, you just let the winds hit, you're gonna end up on an island you didn't want to go to. You know what I mean? And that's life. You know, if you don't know where you want to go, you're gonna be a place you don't want to be at, and then
Yep.
guess what you're gonna do is
Mm-hmm.
complain about it. Know who you are, know what you want, and then do your best to get there. Because it's not easy either. You could give up. You could always give up, and then you're gonna be the guy or the girl who's 60 and miserable and hating on the kid who's doing it because you didn't do it. Ah, kid, I told you you wouldn't do it. That's negativity, baby. We want that positivity. You know what I'm saying?
And
So,
yeah, you don't want
yeah,
that.
man, know yourself,
Yeah,
self reflect, and
that's
then
it,
know what you
everybody.
want.
There we go. Boom. And give yourself time to learn. You know, don't think it's gonna
Yeah,
happen tonight. Don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow. But you can start today. Simple as that.
yeah. Right
Peace
now.
out, everybody.